Hello, Worcester, Central Massachusetts, and the whole world. My name is Amy Mosher. I'm host of Exposure with Mosher, where we are here to spotlight entrepreneurs, innovators, and good news. So, I am so excited. We have 3 female entrepreneurs. First of all, I don't believe I've had 3 female entrepreneurs on the show, so I'm very excited about that. This is episode number 32, and I'm here to introduce you just briefly to Kathryn, who goes by Kathryn Noyes-LeBlanc, of Kathryn Louise and the Healing Tree. So I can't wait to hear more about this. You live in Thompson, Connecticut, and you are originally from Worcester. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Very cool. So welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you.
Great to have you. And we also have Charlotte Holberry, who's the owner of a local company, Eventive. She is living in Auburn these days. Is that correct?
Yep.
Back in the day, I believe you came to us originally from across the pond. Are you originally from London or England?
I'm from England.
England.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
And then rumor has it you also spent some time in Connecticut.
Yes.
Yes.
That's where I'm
Okay.
from.
I got my notes are correct. Awesome. Excellent. So thank you, Charlotte, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And then we have Jessica Walsh, who is the owner and designer at Worcester Wares. That's W-A-R-E-S. Love the play on words, my dear.
Yes.
Now, is it correct that you are originally from Bellingham?
I am.
Lived
Yes.
in Boston for some time, and now you also live in the Woo, correct?
I live in the Woo, I do.
And of course, Worcester Wares, you know, you can see see that. So let us go down the line. We'd love to get to know you ladies a little bit more. We can start first with Kathy. If you can tell us, Kathy, a little bit more about yourself. I know that's that question. A little bit more about your background, and maybe just something unique about you as a person.
Okay, so a little bit about me personally. I love nature and I love being in silence. My background is in education, and I used to teach Spanish and English. And then I moved out into a couple different businesses, and which the one that came all the way through was what I'm teaching now, which I'll talk about later.
Sure.
And one unique thing, I don't know, unique, but we talked about it earlier. I used to teach, I gave it up for a little bit, laughing yoga classes, which I don't feel like it's unique because I know so many people who do it, but it's really fun. And it's a great way to center yourself in a lot of silliness.
Okay, I would love to attend that someday, so let's follow up after
Okay.
the show.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
awesome. So Charlotte, tell us same thing, a little bit more about your background and perhaps something unique.
Okay. So like you said earlier, I'm from England, so I'd say that's pretty unique. My majority of my family lives over there.
Oh.
I moved to Connecticut, and now I live in Auburn. My background's actually in marketing and PR, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, and that's how it led me to what I
Cool.
do today. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Leaving us hanging. That's what I
Yeah.
like. I like that
Suspense.
on the exactly. I'm literally on the edge of my seat on the Exposure with Mosher show. I'm like, what else, Charlotte? Oh, we'll come back to you. Okay. Jessica Walsh, please tell us a bit more about yourself, your background, and something unique. I'm sure there's
Okay.
many to choose from.
Let's see. So I went to. My background is in biology.
Okay.
I actually went to school for something completely different than what I'm doing now. I definitely had my life plan, and I knew I was going to be a scientist and do that. And got there and realized it really wasn't making me happy. And should have paid attention to the fact that I carried a camera around since the time I was 4, and was designing things and wanted to work with my hands. And so the interesting fact is, like, I got here by accident, and it's exactly where I should be.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Life goes different paths, and
Yes.
sometimes it's very unexpected.
For sure. Now,
Yeah.
one of my many favorite expressions is, there's your plan, and then
Yeah.
there's how life goes, and
Right.
it's those of us who can really manage the gap, maybe do a little laughing yoga in between, that really can find happiness and success in this crazy life.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that piece about the biology background. So
Yeah.
you're holding out. But thank you for sharing. Okay, so why don't we actually, if we could, we'll just briefly, if we'll start down the row and,
Sure.
and go down. So what led you to the path of entrepreneurship and innovation? How did you know it was the right path for you, particularly with such a different background?
Well, after I realized that biology and science really wasn't for me, there was a few years there where I was not necessarily lost, but trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I love pets. My heart has always been with animals and the relationship they share with their owners or their humans. I got into photography on the side, and I was working 9 to 5s. And one day I said to my ridiculously supportive husband, "What do you think of me starting my own business and doing this professionally?" And without a moment of thought, he said, "Absolutely, do it. Let's do it."
Cool.
And that has turned into photography, and then doing social media consulting, which then turned into, I do all of that, but turning into this set of Worcester wares that I now make. So I sound a little all over the place, but I swear it's all,
get it.
it's all
Totally
under
get
one
it.
umbrella. Yeah, so that's how that started, was
Awesome.
just knowing I had gone down the wrong path and knew that that path
Right.
was not for me.
And I feel like our paths crossed, if I'm not mistaken, even though I feel like when I met you, I feel like we had met in another lifetime. Sometimes that happens with me. But I think
I love
it was
that.
actually at CC Lowell, right on
It
Park
was.
Ave. So we'll
Yes.
give Kristen and her folks
Yeah.
a shout out at CC Lowell.
Yay, Kristen.
And yeah, Jessica had her stuff, hanging up. And I'm like, I love Worcester. And who is
Yeah.
this person, like, creating Worcester wares? And then there you were. Like, you were just, I was looking at
meant
it,
to
and then I
be.
turned around and, like, you, the artiste,
Yeah.
was right there. So
We
it
were
was
hanging
very,
out
very
in
cool.
America's oldest art store, which happens
America's
to be
oldest
in
art
Worcester.
store.
It's CC Lowell.
Get outta
So cool. Worcester's amazing.
Don't we have, I know, don't we
amazing.
have the America's, if I'm not mistaken, the oldest hardware store as well?
I believe so. I
Oh my
believe
gosh, we could
that's
just go on
true.
and on. So we may have to have some of you
Goodness.
ladies back.
I'll have to be back.
So let's continue down the line just briefly. Charlotte, if you can tell us what led you to the path of entrepreneurship, and how did you know it was the right thing for you?
I'm kind of an overachiever. I always have been, which kind of, not that I get bored easily, but I always have to be advancing. And actually at the last job I had, in my interview, I told what became my future boss, that one day I was going to own my own company, which is pretty risky to say in an interview for a job with that person. But sure enough, several years later, I decided that was the time. It was a little bit earlier than I had anticipated, but when you know, you know. So
Right.
I was just ready to go out and venture on my own, and so far it's been
Cool.
great. So I love it.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was another local female entrepreneur who
Yes, it
totally
was.
got it, right? She was like, yeah, I hate to see you go, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Because
it
she's
was.
one herself, right?
Yes,
Should we
exactly.
give her a shout out?
Yes. Laura.
Laura Breer, Vision Advertising. You let go of a good one. So, but good luck
Yes.
to you with the Eventive. And I
Yeah.
just feel like there's a lot of interesting synergy here behind the table here today. So glad you ladies could all be on the show together. It's very cool. So thank you. And then, Kathy, what about you? How did you know that this path was it for you?
I didn't. I totally don't even know how I got here, but I kind of, this work I do now isn't even my occupation, it's like a vocation, and I can't, like, it would have been easier if I didn't, it wasn't such a calling for me. It's just, it's really in my soul and I love it. The whole entrepreneur path came, there were some different components early on that I was trying to figure out to run retreats and workshops, and I needed a lot of help with it because I couldn't figure it out, and I found Center for Women in Enterprise, and then I realized I was like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, because like I didn't get you had to grow it. You had to know all these other pieces. I thought you just like show up and did your thing, because I had been for a long time. So I guess that's I didn't really know it, and I didn't kind of choose it. It's choosing me, and if I have to get this information out here, I'm going to have to learn about the business part and about the marketing pieces, and so I guess that would be the most accurate answer.
Awesome, yeah, and we can't wait to hear more in the pitch section, more in detail about your particular ideas with the workshops, and it sounds like you're going online and all sorts of things. So we'll leave them hanging for that too. But thank you, that's really exciting. And
suspense.
sometimes we don't know. We're just sort of in it, and then I know, and during our prep session, actually, Jess, you had mentioned, sometimes you just feel like, should I do this thing, and then you wait, and then you could have regrets. Maybe somebody else does something similar, and you're like,
That's
oh,
the
geez.
worst. Yeah, to
right?
see
So
it.
it's like sometimes we don't know, how we got here, or if this is it for us. But if we can just keep moving forward, follow our heart, I think doors can certainly open. So would any of you ladies, we don't have to hear from all of you, but would anyone like to speak to any particular advice or insight you have for other, whether it be entrepreneurs or people in the community that have perhaps been holding in an idea or a passion that they may want to launch? Any thoughts or advice for those folks?
Just do it. I mean, it's not that black and white. I know there's a lot of gray there, but like we were discussing earlier, the worst is when you have this idea and you're like, well, maybe, we're our own worst enemies. Maybe
Yes.
nobody would be interested in that. That's a silly idea. Who would be interested? And then a year later, you see somebody else doing it and you're like, oh, I had that idea, or I had something similar to that, and I doubt myself.
Yes.
It's even if you're doing it slowly on the side, that's what I had to do, and
Yep.
then eventually it becomes like, oh, I need to put more time and investment into this,
Right.
and that's how it matures and happens.
Yes.
Just do it, try it.
And you bring up
Yeah.
that idea of sort of like that self-talk. And we all have voices in our head. For quite
Yes.
some time, I thought it was just me, but turns out that's how humans are designed, that we all have these thoughts, and often they are disempowering. And ladies, we tend to be a little bit more critical even than the men. It drives me crazy.
My
I do
voice
it
is a
myself.
jerk.
Ladies,
Yeah.
in preparation for this show, you guys were so hilarious. Then my last show, that they were all like, well, let's do it, gung-ho, and you're like, am I gonna know? And we're all just people. So I just wanna totally acknowledge what you said. A lot of times we are our own worst enemies. Men, women, wherever we come from, it's like we have voices that keep us, and we're kind of in our own way. So
Yeah.
that's such a great piece of advice. Thank
Try
you.
and surround yourself with people who
Yes.
work against your voice. I mean, my voice is personally kind of a
Yes.
jerk sometimes, you know, and
I have a
need,
jerk voice
and I
too.
need people to be like, stop it, get out of your own way,
Yes.
and I find those people very valuable.
And
Yeah.
ladies, wouldn't you agree that's part of the challenge too about being sometimes we call it a solopreneur. When you're first starting up, you're actually, you're a woman of many hats, right? Or a man of many hats. And that is something that we struggle with when you're working by yourself, to kind of keep getting out there, stepping outside your comfort zone, networking, so that you're not just in your own head and you're actually sharing what you can do. Maybe Kathy, you can help me in some area and I can help you, and vice versa. Which is sort of like the co-op theme that we actually had talked about in the previous episode. Anybody else want to shout out a quick bit of advice or insight? Otherwise, we'll move on.
Well, I think the other thing is that really inspired me to kind of get going with it was I didn't want to wait 5-10 years and then be in a situation where it wasn't really the right timing. Not that it's ever
Yeah.
like the perfect timing, but
Exactly.
I just wanted to do it, so I didn't look back with regret and say, well, now I could have been doing this,
Yeah.
but instead I'm not. I just did it, so I wouldn't have to look back on it with regrets.
Awesome.
So I think if you're waiting for the
Yes.
right time, it's not going to come. Just try it and
Yes.
see
Has
what
anybody?
happens.
Yeah. Right. Like, okay. Oh, the right time is knocking. Whether it's
Yeah.
launching a business or anything else you're planning on doing. Not sure that we ever get that clear knock on the door. Kathy, anything you want to add? Otherwise, we'll go to the questions.
So I would say, if you're thinking about starting one or starting a business now, never listen. I have this in my office. It's a crane with a frog in its mouth, and
Yes.
the frog's holding on for dear life, and it says, "Never, never, never give up." And that keeps me going all the time. So I would say that, and surround yourself with positive, good people.
Yes.
Take care of your body, keep your body clean. Like, that's what helps
Yep.
me. Keep my body clean, keep my mind clean. And that's helped me. So those would be, I don't know who they'll serve, but
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, if I could give another shout out from the set, Daniela Dubsky, who is actually behind the camera right now on set. I just want to give her a real kudos, a thank you. In fact, Daniela, who you'll see on the credits at the end of the show, and she's been helping me since the get-go from August 2013 when we launched. And actually, she was the one, Kathy, who suggested that you contact me. So that was a really fun day when I got your phone call. I'm like, I'm now getting referrals from people to be on the show. So you increased my confidence. So thank you, Kathy, for following up. And Daniela, thanks for all the work that you do to support the show. So Kathy, if we could, I keep putting you on the spot, but I'm like, hey, what the heck? We'll go down the row one more time. And Jessica, I haven't forgotten about you. So Kathy, please tell us a little bit more about the educational tools that you teach, and tell us, why do you teach these tools? So just briefly, what are the tools, and then why do you teach these tools?
So right now I have 6 workshops, and I'll quickly go through. They're on how to make decisions from your core self, how to understand the relationships that you're in and categorize them, because we can live different relationships with different people. Why do we have disproportionate reactions, where they're coming from? So it's a lot of work on looking inside yourself and this core part of us that is unique to each of us. So we're all so unique. So there's 6 different workshops. You can check those out online if you want to see what they are. But the reason I got into this work, I didn't see it coming. It's just been going for the last 20 years. I grew up in Worcester, had a really rough childhood, and was going through a lot of emotional turmoil, which I didn't know that's what it was at the time. Got into a lot of trouble, flunked out of school, and just suffered a lot even through my 20s, and had a real rough alcohol addiction. And these tools that I found saved my life.
Wow.
And that was the first start, but then I started to find that this is like my calling. I can't let it go. It's like I want to give it to other people so that I can ease them. I can just see if I had known this 20 years ago,
Right.
how much further along my path I would be. And it's just miraculous. Once you understand how we work as human beings, it just makes it go so much faster. It's like when somebody's like, here's the door handle. So I just get really excited about it. So that's why I teach these tools. And it's like I can't not teach them, so it's a little aggravating because I would much rather own a cafe and like talk to people, but so.
Maybe we could figure out a way to combine those
I
interests, you know?
Yeah.
But thank you very much for being so authentic and sharing, you know, what really drives you and why you do what you do. I think a lot of people can relate to your story, and you know, a lot of times, you know, new breakthroughs in our lives occur because somebody's willing to be vulnerable and share. So, thank you very much, Kathy. That was awesome, and I'm sure people can say, "Oh, wow, it's not just me. No, it's not just you. We're all human, and it is an incredible being to study." So I'd like to really keep in touch with you, Miss Kathy. So let's hear from Charlotte. I have a question for you. So we know that just from the word, very clever play on words, by the way. Love it. Eventive. See? I almost tricked myself. But Charlotte, not everyone understands what corporate event planning is. So can you please give us some specific examples?
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people ask me that all the time, you know, okay, so you're a corporate event planner. That's, you know, actually a lot of people will say, that's really cool, and they smile and shake their head at me. In reality, they have no idea what I do. And then when I start dropping certain keywords, they pick up on it, and they're like, oh, I get it. Like, now I know what you do. So obviously I plan events, but I do it for the corporate customer. So any industry, it's not a specific type of company, it's anybody that is in a company that is looking to host an event to help market themselves, or even if it's an internal event, like a holiday event, but things like holiday events, like I just said. Open houses are a big one, grand openings. So if you know a company that is moving locations or just open their doors, grand openings are a really awesome way to kind of get people in. Trade shows, expos, award ceremonies, customer appreciation, employee appreciation, stuff like that is really what I focus on. So those are just a few examples. There's so many. And sometimes your company might not fit into the mold, and there might be something else. And that's where my background and creativity can kind of come into play, and I can come up with something that's specific for that company.
Thank you for breaking that down, because I do think we live in sort of a soundbite world. So, you know, we hear these keywords and then, oh yeah, maybe the person who's listening or watching may not need it right now, but they plant that seed or they know somebody. So definitely, like I always say with all of our guests on the Exposure with Mosher show, here who is courageous enough to be up here on TV, and certainly, you know, jot down their information and, you know, plant that seed and pass the word. So we'd love to get some referrals going throughout the community to support the local entrepreneurs. So Jessica, why don't we hear from you about, so again, Worcester Wares. So we haven't quite heard, you know what, we're gonna actually turn things around here. We're gonna actually have you go right into your pitch. Then maybe if you could, kind of incorporate, so tell us, again, we want to really know, so as the pitch, you're going to just be speaking directly to our community. And if you can tell us again the name of your business and describe in more detail what is Worcester Wares. So in more detail, the product or service, who's your target audience? It may be obvious to us, but you want to spell it out. Your value proposition, so how do you benefit your customers, and how do you differentiate from other competitors in your space? And then of course, we know that your contact is on the screen, but please tell us the best way to contact you.
Sure.
So if you can just speak right.
It's a lot of things. Hi, I'm
whatever you
Jessica
like
Walsh.
to pick.
I own Worcester Wares, and when I moved here almost 8 years ago, I was coming from Boston, and I realized that you could walk into a gas station or just walk up the street 5 feet in Boston and find something that said Boston on it. And in Worcester, that was definitely not the case. It's still few and far between. And I decided to come up with a line of Worcester Wares, goods that are Worcester themed and provide a positive image for Worcester. I think that Worcester has an amazing historical background. It has a really great set of people who live here. and I wanted to create something that would not only speak to them, but people who either grew up here and no longer live here, or people who have moved away and have come back because they remember, Worcester really had something going. I do a line of totes and shirts, postcards, soon to do posters as well. And they're different designs based on different parts of Worcester that I have thought important, and they seem to be going really well.
Very cool. And rumor has it you've got a few
I
demo
do,
items there
yes.
To your right.
As a matter of fact, I do.
So please feel free to share. I'm so glad you were able to bring some visuals.
Yes, it all started with these silly I Love Worcester pins.
Oh, the one that I have on?
Yes.
Yes.
I had originally bought one and couldn't find who had made it. Here's I Love Worcester pin.
Oh, that's cute. Hold it up. It will focus in. Yay!
And my friend wanted one, and some people I had been skating with wanted some, and I ended up making probably 100 of them. Gave them to someone, gave them to another person, give them to someone else. Oh, hey, neat pin, give it to them. And I thought maybe other people would want these. Like, maybe I should make a whole bunch and see if people will buy them. And from there, it turned into, do you sell anything else? So it turned into totes. I have various designs. This one's the Worcester zip codes. This one's kind of cool because you have to be like part of the secret club to know what it is. It's neat when somebody notices it and knows what's going on. This one just with the heart with Worcester. And this is my #1 selling design. It's just the entering Worcester sign.
Hold it up just a little bit.
Whoop.
Yep, there you go.
It's very utilitarian, very basic, very simple, and it's iconical. I mean, everybody, when you're on the highway, when you're on 290 and you're coming into Worcester and you see that entering Worcester sign, you know you're home.
Awesome. And where can they find these great products, just quickly?
Yes, I'm selling them at CC Lowell on Park Ave, as well as Crompton Collective.
Okay.
Yes, that's where we're at. And I have an Etsy shop that you can get to through worcesterwares.com.
Awesome.
You can check it out at worcesterwares.com, but I'm very active on Facebook and Instagram as well, if anybody wanted to find me there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you've got a few colorful shirts there. And some
we have shirts
just
for men and
briefly.
women, different colors, different sizes. Those are available at CC Lowell. Only CC Lowell has the shirts right now. And they come in different colors, different sizes, and we have postcard sets as well, which have the 8 designs that I have in my line right now.
Nice. You are a go-getter. I'm so glad I met you at
Goodness.
CC
I'm
Lowell.
so
I know
excited we met.
We've given them some high quality, well-deserved promotion.
They're fantastic.
They
They
are
are.
awesome.
I just cannot say enough about them, and they were one of the very positive voices in my head that told me my ideas were not silly and that I needed to go do them. So they're in my heart forever. Yeah.
How fitting.
It's great. Yeah.
The heart of the universe again. Okay, we're going to move down the line. If we could please hear from Charlotte, again, Charlotte Holberry of Eventive. If you can give us your pitch and speak directly with your community here.
Okay, my name is Charlotte Holberry. I'm the owner of Eventive. It's a corporate event planning company located in Auburn, Massachusetts. My background is actually in marketing and PR. I worked in a PR firm in Connecticut, and then after that I went and worked for Vision Advertising, like we were talking about earlier, which is a marketing firm right here in Worcester. So while I was working at Vision, I bumped into a lot of business owners who were looking to get their name out there, which obviously working with a marketing company is a great way to do that, but another way to do it is through hosting an event. So I realized that a lot of business owners are too busy doing what they're good at to host an event and properly organize it and spread the word about it. And I've been doing events for years and years and years voluntarily, so I decided to venture out on my own, start a company where I could do this as my profession. So right now I work with a lot of companies in the area who are looking to market themselves through hosting an event. So that's what I do. Am I missing anything off that list?
We've got your contact would you prefer that people
Oh,
contact you a
yeah.
certain way?
You can absolutely shoot me an email. I am also on Facebook. I have a big event coming up that I'm working on right now, just to keep in line with the suspense. I don't have a lot of details about it. It's a ladies' night out, but I will be posting a lot on Facebook, on my Facebook page about it. So you can look me up online on my Facebook page, which is Eventive Corporate Event Planning. I'm on Instagram, or you can always give me a call too. So
You're everywhere.
I am.
You are
I
ready.
try.
Yeah.
I did work in internet marketing. So.
Yes, absolutely. So you're walking the talk. That's
Yes, yeah.
excellent. Thank you, Charlotte. So thanks for cutting out of your busy schedule to be here on the set. Okay, let's hear, last but not least at all, we have Kathy here with Kathryn Noyes and the Healing Tree. So if you could just give us a little bit more details about your specific product or service. I know you already shared with us about the workshops, but who would that audience be that you really want to get out in front of? Who would be an ideal customer? How do you benefit your customers and differentiate what's unique? And of course, the best way to contact you.
Okay, so do I say who I am?
Sure.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm Kathryn Noyes from the Healing Tree, and I teach human development workshops and facilitate retreats. I guess my ideal customer would be groups and individuals that really want to understand how they function so that they can really live their radiance in the world to its highest potential. A lot of really great workshops for leaders would benefit from this, and individuals that really want to push through some of their barriers and keep moving forward for, with their life purpose. What else?
I'm going. I mean, I don't
there
know
other
what you're holding
contacts?
and where, but
Oh, I have different contacts that will probably show up on screen. And my newest thing, which it's not my forte, but it's live in me, so I'm going to move forward with it, is taking these 6 workshops and getting them up online. So to have webinars, interactive, and see if I can keep the really sacred experiential part in while doing it online.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to be coming up with that. So if you want to get involved in that, you can go to the website below, and I just learned how to do a new thing where you can get like a free PDF on 3 ways that I
so cool.
think things are funnier.
So, Kathryn, it would be then thehealingtree.us to get more information. Is that correct? Where people can
Yep.
find you? Okay.
Yep.
And Charlotte, you've got this awesome ladies' night, but she's going to keep us. So find her out there on Facebook and all the other platforms she mentioned. Jessica, is there anything that's coming up very quickly for you that you want people to tune into?
Yes, I'm currently licensing different designs from different artists in Worcester that are representative of Worcester, and this is my first one.
Ooh.
And it's part of the Montgomery line. The artist is Danielle Montgomery, so I'm excited to see what the next artist will bring, so we can make Worcester Wears a much bigger thing, bigger than
Excellent.
myself. It just spread the Worcester love.
It's bigger than all of us,
Yeah,
right?
bigger than all of us, right.
So we are running out of time, ladies. This was a super fun show. I feel like we've inspired the masses,
Yeah.
men
Thank you
and
for
women
having
alike. And I'll just wrap up by, actually, let's leave them hanging even more. I was going to mention something really positive, uplifting news. I'm launching a new project called The Purple Platform. And I'll leave it at that. We'll tune in next time, and we'll go into more detail as to what the Purple Platform is and how that can benefit the community.
Fun.
So thank you all so much. Great
Thank
job
you so
today.
much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yay.